For the braided stainless steel brake lines, what they give you, they really give you everything in here. They give you the new banjo bolt, the washers, the clips. I mean, they give you everything you really need for this. Okay, now that I have my vehicle jacked up, I used that point right there. Let's see if I can get to it. That point right there. That kind of double looking thing. That's my jack up point. Make sure you use your jack stands. I've already taken the wheel off. And the first thing you're going to take off is this bolt right here for the caliper. And the other one is right back here. So the two bolts on here, they are 14 millimeters, just like that. So I'm gonna untighten these and take these off. Alright, and once you take those off, this part of the caliper can now come off. Really on there. Go. There. Now that that's off, this is held together by the brake line, so don't let it dangle because it's really heavy. Set this up in a nice place. Okay, I just set it back there so it's not putting any stress on the line. The next one that you are going to get, it's kind of hard to see back here, it's going to be this portion of the caliper. If you do want to take this off, I'm taking them both off to paint them, but if you are just doing brake pads, you can take your pads off here. If you don't have the little clips in here, then keep these, but all you have to do is slide these out. They're really easy. Just pop the new ones back in and then you've got those covered. If you want to take and replace your rotors, you're going to take off the two bolts still on the back. And to do that, for this Subaru, these are M8s that you can put in here, thread them through, and it'll pop this whole thing free. If not, oh, mine's already loose. If not, you can just take it straight out. And just in case you guys wanted to know, 17 millimeter is the one that's going to fit on these right there. I know it's really hard to see back here. There's one right behind here, and directly on the other side you just follow this to the back, and there's one right back here. Alright, to take the brake lines off, you're going to need your 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter is going to take off this bolt right here that fits on there, and for this one, the one just holding it in place, it is a 12 millimeter. Right under here, you're going to have this clip. If you just look underneath, mine was clipped on like that. Just grab some pliers and take it straight out. Alright, for my brake lines, mine were on there really well. So, you just use some vice grips and clamp them on the bottom part here, and while they're on, get your 10 millimeter and pop it on here and turn left. That popped mine free. Once you get this out, there we go. This is what's going to come out, and the top portion is going to look like this. Now your whole thing is taken out, and you can put in your new stainless steel one. It goes in exactly as the other one did. That hooks up right in there with the bolt. This will screw right into place onto there. This will hook up with the banjo bolt that it came with. Alright, since I'm going through this, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm taking everything apart from the caliper and the rotors and whatnot, and I'm taking everything apart, cleaning it. Those are the brackets that I took out and cleaned up a little bit. All these brackets that they came with, none of them fit, so I've just cleaned up the ones that I did have. The little rubber boots, if you do take them off, this narrow end goes towards this part, if you do forget. So the narrower end goes towards like that. And there are two different kinds. There's just the metal one and the part with the little rubber piece at the end. The rubber piece goes on the bottom portion, so when you actually have this hooked into your car, there's the top one that goes up in here, and then there's the bottom one. The bottom one is always going to be the one with the little rubber grommet on it. So before you put your calipers back on, what you need to do is depress these back in. So the best way to do that is to get your old brake pad, put it right up there, get a C-clamp on both sides and tighten it evenly until it goes all the way in. So if you ever get lost, as you can see here and over here, there's an R and an L, right and left side for the actual caliper itself. If you get confused or mix them up or you forgot, right here, the little bleeder hose nipple is on the right side, and the other one will be over here on the left side. So this one is going to go on the right side of your car. This one will go on the left side of your car. So when you start everything back up again, I got my rotor on already. I put some lugs on here to keep it from moving too much when I try to put this back on. I went through and I painted everything, make it look a little better. It's going to go the exact same way it did before. Go in the back. You're going to put both the screws in there, and if you did take these out, remember that the top one is different from the bottom one. Okay, now that I have both the bolts in the back, I don't know if you can see them. Got one down here and one right here. I've just snugged them in place for right now. Get your brake cleaner, clean your brakes off to get all that crap that's on there, and get your new brakes. And I mean new by you have to buy separate ones if you have certain brakes. What I figured out was the brakes that came with this kit did not fit on here, and the reason is they made two different brakes for this year, and the difference is this right here. This little tab is smaller for mine. It could be different for yours, so do the research first. My little tab is smaller. The only difference between the 2 months that they made them is this one's smaller and the other one that I got is bigger, so it will not fit. So check that out beforehand. So tab in the back like so, just pop it in, and the one in the front, pop that one in. Now that it's in, go ahead and put some brake quieting stuff, grease, synthetic, whatever, on the outside of both of them. And now you're going to grab your caliper, you're going to put it on, the bolts are going to go through, and then you can finally put on your braided brake line. Alright, now that I have both of those tightened in, and you have all the other bolts tightened in, this little rubber piece that goes on here for bleeding brakes, there's actually another one in the pack that you get. If this one's all screwed up, it's just another one. So now this moves around, so just in case you want to adjust it, that goes up there. You put the existing screw back in. The banjo bolt, you're going to put one washer up on the top, you're going to feed it through, and the other washer is going to go on the other side. Alright, now we're at the rear. My jack points here. I don't have one on the rear diff. because that's where I jacked it up originally. I do have another one right there. The one right there is just a fail-safe, just in case it drops down. I've got it about an inch away. Both tires are off the ground, and that's all I need. And now that we're doing the rear, make sure your emergency brake is down or off. Alright, now that I've taken the tire off, it's going to be almost the exact same thing as the other side. You've got the 2 bolts here for the caliper, which will take the metal part off. And then if you want to, you can take this part off if you want to paint it like I've been doing, or if you need to replace your rotor. It's going to be different this time. It's going to be actually a 14 right here in the back. I don't know if I can get to it. It's going to be right here. And if you just follow this to the back, there's another one right back here. And if anyone needed to know, the torque specification for when you actually put your wheel back on is going to be around 70 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, I just took the screws off and this popped up. I'm going to do the same thing as the other side and just set it down really anywhere that it's not going to fall and it's not going to put stress on your current line. Now, next, I'm going to take the 2 bolts out of the back, take this out, and as you can see, the pads obviously are smaller in the back, and you only have a 1 hydraulic system opposed to 2 on the front. Alright, for when you get to the stainless steel brake line, I'm starting with the middle portion. As you can see, I got that clip out. It took me quite a while. It was really in there. I had to put something in the bottom and hit it up with a hammer to finally loosen it up and take it out. But now that that's out, this is free to move out. There we go. Now once that's out, we move on to the top one here. You're going to take out this clip. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to pull out. You might have to muscle it out like the last one. I don't know how far gone your stuff is. And then back down here, it's going to be the same size as last time. It's going to be a 10mm. And you're going to pop that out. Once you pop that out, then all you need left is the one here on the caliper. Your banjo bolt right there. And your banjo bolt is going to be a 12mm to get that off. Alright, for when you actually get to this one, there's the top one up there, and it leads down to the secondary one here. How the inside works, here I have the other one here. How the inside works is it has a weird shape to it. See, it's like flat, and then it's long ways like this, with this metal piece in here. That's stationary, that's along with the rest of this metal, and then you have this little gold piece, or copper piece, that moves around. So, once you come in here, you're going to have to position it so it looks like that, and it fits in all the way. And the gold piece, you're going to have to rotate it so the opening in the bottom, can't really see it back here, the opening is down towards the bottom where there's a little lip. Now once all that's in, you take your, wherever I put it, you take the clip that was originally on here, and it goes in between there into the little gap. you go. It goes into this gap right in here to push it all in. Alright, now that I have the new rotor on, the caliper back on, everything cleaned up and painted, brake lines nice and secured. If you want to bleed your brakes, which you should do since if you did put the braided brake lines on here, this, I don't know if I have enough light in here for you to see, but there is a little knob here. It's your brake bleeder. You pop that off. It's just a little rubber piece, and you just put a plastic tube on here. I've been trying to figure out what size it actually is. It's smaller than a 1/4 is all I know, because I got a 1/4 and I put it on here and it was too big, so I put a zip tie around it. All you need to do is have that go down into a bottle, which I have here. Like I have zip tie on there, put it on, it's nice and snug. It goes into here. Make sure you have air or ventilation some kind so it can equalize. There's that nasty crap that I got out of there. But you put it on there, and if there are 2 people, have one person pump the brake. And when they pump the brake, the rears are smaller than the front for the little nut that's on there. It's going to be a 5/16 or I think that's 8mm in the back, and in the front it's going to be a 10mm. I don't know what the conversion for that is, but those will get those loose. Have the person pump their brakes, turn it, and you should get your brake fluid coming out of there. And as soon as there's no more bubbles, go ahead, secure that on. Make sure you refill your reservoir. When you actually do bleed the brakes, you're gonna have to go in order for the Subaru. I'm pretty sure all the Subarus are the same, but you're gonna start out with the passenger front, and once you're done with that, then you're gonna go to the other side, the driver rear, driver front, and then back here, and this should be the last one you're doing as the passenger rear. And once everything's done, that's how it's gonna look.